Hey guys, Drew here from youpickgames with part 3 of my OBS tutorial. This part is the video category of OBS. Right off the bat, you're going to notice the top thing is video adapter. This is just another fancy word, not really fancy, but it's just basically what it means is your graphics card. So from this list, you're going to select your graphics card. For most people, you're just going to have one in that list, and that's going to be the one you're going to want to use. But obviously, if you have multiple graphics cards working with some crossfire settings or SLI, you're going to want to choose your main graphics card. The next thing you're going to have to worry about is your base resolution. Basically, this is the resolution at which you're going to be streaming at. So you can either choose a custom, which is whatever you want to put in, or your monitor. Now, my monitor is a 1080p resolution, and I don't want to stream in 1080p. So I did a custom. I did the 720p resolution, which is 1280 by 720. And basically what that's going to do is I'm going to be streaming at that resolution. Now, what you can do is if you would like to stream at a 1080p resolution and if you'd like to use like your whole monitor as like your your resolution, but you want to stream at a lower setting, something you can do is it's called resolution downscale. Basically, like let's say you have 1080p and you want to be streaming at 720p, well, you can downscale your resolution or like your broadcast to a different resolution. Now, most times this actually does make the broadcast look better. In this sense, I'm just going to choose a downscale just so we can get these filter options. But I don't use a downscale because personally my computer actually doesn't have enough horsepower to handle like AAA titles at a 1080p resolution and stream at the same time. But if I do like a 720p resolution like windowed, it's no problems with that. But anyways, let's say that you want to do the downscale. You're going to have these filter options, and basically they're pretty self-explanatory, but you can kind of, the better the detail, the more, it's going to be a little more intensive on your CPU. But basically, a downscale actually does make your games and your broadcast look better, but it is a little more intensive. So obviously, there'll be more options if you go from like 1080 to 720, but I'm just kind of going from 1080 to like this really weird resolution. Either way, you can kind of mess around with this and figure out which one you want. The next thing is your frames per second. Now, your FPS, you want it, the lowest you want to ever go is 30. Now, that's because monitors work in multiples of 30 frames per second. There's no monitor that runs at 20 frames per second ever. So basically, the lowest you're going to want to go is 30. The highest you realistically ever want to go is 60, but the thing is you have to realize that 30 frames per second already uses a lot of CPU, and if you go up to 60 frames per second, you're almost doubling the CPU power it takes to do that. So for most people I would suggest 30. Otherwise, you can tinker around with it, but 30 or 60 are really the only kind of frames per second FPS options you want to work with. And then the last thing is disabling aero. Now basically you should never disable aero unless you're using something called monitor capture, which is an option in your stream settings for your sources, which we will go over later. But basically, unless you're using monitor capture, there's no real reason to do it. It does save some RAM, but if you have anywhere over 4 gigabytes of RAM, there's no reason to do it because it doesn't save you that much. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please put them in the comment section below. Otherwise, thank you for watching.